All right, folks. Garden of England. Kent is a smart place to put your money right now. But where in Kent? Let's find the 10 best places to live in Kent. And I mean it. I'll be talking property prices, rental costs, commute times, school catchments, which neighborhoods to target, which ones to avoid, and all the local color. So whether you are a Londoner looking to escape the capital without completely losing your mind, a family trying to game the grammar school system, a retiree chasing coastal views on a fixed income, or just somebody who has Googled best places to live in Kent, this video is for you. Coming in at number 10, we have Ramsgate. Sits on the east coast of Kent in the Thanet district, and it's absolutely the value play on this entire list. And I want you to pay attention here, because this is the kind of place that serious property investors get excited about before everybody else figures it out. You've got the United Kingdom's only royal harbor, a distinction granted by King George IV himself. And that harbor is the social and architectural centerpiece of a town that blends Georgian and Victorian elegance in a way that is genuinely striking when you first roll in. The vibe here is coastal and creative, with a growing community of artists and remote workers. The average house price here sits at approximately £264,000, and private rents are averaging £1,099 a month, with 4-bedroom properties running roughly £1,661. Buyers recognize the HS1 connectivity to London St. Pancras as a long-term value driver. Now, the most sought-after neighborhoods are centered around King George VI Memorial Park and the West Cliff, where you get sea views. But here is the honest truth about Ramsgate that you need to hear. There is a very real economic divide running through this town between the thriving waterfront and the inland high street. And locals consistently flag the high commercial vacancy rate inland, the influence of the massive Westwood Cross retail park pulling spending away from the town center, and the fact that walking 3 blocks back from the harbor can feel like you've entered a completely different economic reality. The areas around Luton Road specifically get flagged for higher antisocial behavior, and the Thanet district overall carries higher than average drug use statistics compared to Kent's inland commuter towns. Number 9 takes us inland to Marden. It's a village that is becoming the poster child for what I would call the connected rurality model. And this place sits in a really strategic sweet spot geographically between Tunbridge Wells to the south and Maidstone to the north, which means you get genuine Kentish countryside. Yeah, working orchards, vineyards, timber-framed buildings, the whole visual shorthand for idyllic English village, without being cut off from the modern world, because Marden has a direct high-speed rail link that gets you into London in about 50 minutes. And there is a highly rated medical center, which is genuinely a luxury that not every location on this list can claim. Now, on the numbers, property prices align broadly with the Maidstone district average of £428,800, and the rental market is limited but tight, with quality 3-bedroom houses fetching between £1,600 and £1,800 a month. Median annual salaries in the Maidstone district run around £36,200. The most desirable addresses cluster around the village green and the historic high street, where the old post office coffee house and those iconic timber-framed buildings define the aesthetic. And there is apparently an unwritten rule that getting a mortgage here requires passing a taste test for Bramley apples, which honestly just adds to its charm. At number 8, we have Y, and this is one of those villages that shows up on literally every national best place to live shortlist in the UK for a reason. It's stunning, it's well-run, and it has a quality of life offering that is genuinely hard to match anywhere in the county. Positioned at the foot of the North Downs area of outstanding natural beauty, with the Great Stow River running through it, the Pilgrim's Way hiking route on its doorstep, and a twice-monthly farmers market plus the Y Arts Association providing the cultural backbone, this village operates at a level of refined rural tranquility that feels almost implausibly well-preserved for somewhere with real rail connectivity. And that connectivity matters. You've got direct rail to London St. Pancras in approximately 60 minutes and the ASHFORD International Hub just minutes away. Now, on schools, it's a major draw for families because the Lady Joanna Thornhill Endowed Primary is rated outstanding by Ofsted, and the Y School provides strong secondary options. Now, let's talk money, because Y carries what I would call a significant beauty premium over the broader Ashford district. Where the district average runs in the lower 400s, family homes in Y regularly reach £450,000 to £550,000, and period cottages in the most desirable spots frequently exceed £1,500 a month in rent. The most coveted addresses run along the historic streets toward the church and the River Stow, where pubs like the Tickled Trout have gardens that literally back up to the water's edge. And the honest downside is that its commercial and healthcare footprint is genuinely limited. You are traveling to Ashford or Canterbury. Number 7 is Folkestone, and this is the regeneration story of the decade in Kent. The energy here is contemporary and buzzy in a way that none of the other locations on this list can quite match. Centered on the Creative Quarter's independent galleries and studios and the renovated Harbour Arm. And the HS1 link puts London just 53 minutes away, which means you get a genuinely urban coastal lifestyle at a price point that is still meaningfully below the established commuter hubs. The average house price in the Folkestone and Hythe district holds at approximately £310,000. There is genuine entry-level opportunity here, particularly in the terraced £276K and flat £172K market. The rental market is moving fast, though, with average monthly rents hitting £1,120. The most desirable neighborhoods are the West End for proximity to the Leas Promenade and those sweeping coastal views, and the Creative Quarter itself for people who want a walk urban living experience. And the residents talk about horizontal rain and sea winds that make property maintenance a constant and expensive challenge. The local joke is that a fixer-upper in Folkestone means a house where the previous owner's windows are currently somewhere in the middle of the English Channel. But if you can handle the weather and you want a piece of a town that is still appreciating, Folkestone is a compelling buy. Coming in at number 6 is Ashford, which is Kent's primary strategic growth center, and it's a place you choose with your head rather than your heart. The vibe here is modern, efficient, and unabashedly functional. This is a town built around its HS1 connection to London St. Pancras, which it delivers in under 40 minutes, making it the fastest London commute east of Sevenoaks. And for families who want significantly more square footage per pound than anything London or West Kent can offer, while keeping one foot in the capital's economy, this is genuinely a logical choice. On the numbers, Ashford is one of the better performing markets in the county right now, with average house prices at approximately £354,000 and a 3% annual growth rate. Rents have risen sharply to £1,218 a month, and the median annual salary in the district sits at £38,600. The most recommended neighborhoods are Goddington and the various villages within the town developments. But the locals nicknamed it Trashford. People who live here will tell you the town center lacks soul in a way that surrounding villages like Wye and Tankerton do not. There is development fatigue from relentless housing construction that has not been matched by social infrastructure investment. Though if convenience and commuter value are your top priorities, Ashford absolutely delivers. At number 5, we have Faversham, and this is what I would call the investment gem. The oldest market town in the county, over 450 listed buildings, home to the historic Shepherd Neame Brewery that gives the whole town a genuine, authentic character that the Western commuter hub simply cannot replicate. The vibe here is authentically Kentish in the best possible way. Independent, food-obsessed, historically rich, and increasingly on the radar of buyers who want to avoid the manicured but somewhat soulless feel of new-build Ashford or the extreme price points of Tunbridge Wells. On the property side, Faversham is performing well, with specific asking prices averaging £416,200. 86% of properties here have gardens, good for families, and reflects the town's predominantly traditional housing stock. Rents are in line with the broader North Kent coastal market, and the highly desirable neighborhoods are around the Upper Town and the streets adjacent to Standard Quay. Now, for areas to avoid, locals consistently flag the Love Lane estate and, on the serious downside, the infrastructure strain, and it's significant. The doctor-to-patient ratio is reported to be among the worst in the entire country. Finding an NHS dentist is virtually impossible. Primary school places are critically oversubscribed, and the ancient road layout combined with rapid peripheral housing growth creates frequent gridlock in the town center. Number 4 goes to Whitstable, paired with its neighbor, Tankerton. And look, Whitstable has a reputation that precedes it by about a decade at this point. This is the town that basically invented the down from London creative relocation template that every coastal regeneration story since has been trying to copy. The vibe is bohemian, oyster-obsessed, fiercely independent, and extremely self-aware about all of those things. The High Street is one of the very few in Kent that has genuinely resisted the incursion of major chain retailers. Tankerton, right next door, offers a meaningfully different residential character: wider grassy slopes, quieter streets, high safety ratings, and a demographic that skews more toward established families and retirees who want the Whitstable lifestyle premium without the peak season chaos. On the numbers, Whitstable consistently sells at an average of £335,000, and average private rents in the area have hit £1,241 a month. The most recommended streets are Tankerton for families. Now, community sentiment about Whitstable is genuinely split in a way that is worth taking seriously. Many residents describe the coastal culture as irreplaceable and the community bonds as unusually strong, but a vocal and growing contingent describes the town as having become up itself and over-commercialized, with weekend tourist overcrowding making everyday life genuinely difficult during summer months. At number 3, we have Canterbury, the only actual city on this list, and a genuinely unique residential proposition because it operates on two completely separate tracks simultaneously. You have the ancient Cathedral City track with World Heritage status, medieval street plans, Gothic architecture, and one of the most walkable urban cores in the southeast. And then running right alongside that, you have a youthful, energetic University City track, driven by a student population that accounts for a remarkable 40% of total residents across 3 universities. And the combination of those two tracks creates an atmosphere that is unlike anything else in Kent. It's ancient and alive at the same time. And that duality is exactly what makes Canterbury appeal to such a wide range of buyers. On safety, it's one of the most secure locations in the county, with crime rates significantly below the county average, a major plus for families. And the grammar school access here is genuinely strong, with desirable neighborhoods like St. Stephen's and the area around Old Dover Road. Property prices sit at district average of £335,000, and rents averaging £1,241 a month, driven upward by student accommodation shortage. And the median salary in the district is £36,600. The most recommended residential neighborhoods for non-students are St. Dunstan's for its proximity to Canterbury West Station, and Hales Place is flagged as too student-heavy for households without university connections. The genuine downsides are twofold, and both are serious. First, the medieval road infrastructure effectively strangles the city at peak times in a way that no amount of modern traffic management has been able to solve. And second, the high street has struggled with the loss of major retail anchors. One resident put it perfectly by noting that you can walk from the 12th century to a modern parking lot in 30 seconds, but you will spend 30 minutes doing it. Runner-up position goes to Royal Tunbridge Wells, and honestly, it's not even close for second place. This town is the gold standard of home county sophistication, and it has been for 300 years, and it knows it. The vibe is quintessentially Regency, elegant, confident, independently minded, and sitting on the edge of the high wheeled. The town has fully evolved into a luxury commuter hub for families chasing the best of both worlds. Commute to London runs about 55 minutes, and the apple orchards that define the visual identity of this part of Kent. The educational infrastructure here is exceptional, with grammar school options reinforced by the recent addition of VAT to private school fees, which has sent even more wealthy families flooding into the selective state school system. Now, on the numbers are some of the highest property values in the county, with an average house price of £465,000 and rents average £1,487 a month. But the median resident earnings of £46,200 are the highest in Kent. The most coveted neighborhoods are the Village and Mount Ephraim for their historic buildings and access to the common. The only meaningful downside here is the extreme cost of living, which filters the population toward a very specific socioeconomic bracket. The town is often compared to an American wealthy enclave, just with fewer Mormons. And at number 1, the definitive best place to live in Kent, it's Sevenoaks. And it's not particularly close. This town sits at the absolute peak of everything Kent can offer, and it does so with a combination of advantages that no other location on this list can fully offer. The core proposition is this: 22 minutes to London Bridge on a direct train, the fastest commute in the entire county, combined with immediate access to the 1,000-acre Knoll Park Deer Estate, which gives you genuine ancient woodland and roaming deer literally on the edge of the town. The vibe here is leafy, affluent, and quietly certain of its own status. This is a town that attracts London's financial elite specifically because it delivers a functionally rural atmosphere that remains operationally integrated into the capital's economy without any compromise on either side of that equation. The educational offering is world-class, with Sevenoaks School holding global recognition, and grammar options like Weald of Kent providing excellent selective alternatives. On the numbers, Sevenoaks is operating at the very top of the Kent market, with an average house price of £535,000 and private rents at £1,780 a month, which is the highest in the county by a significant margin. The most coveted neighborhoods are Kippington and the areas immediately adjacent to Knoll Park. This is one of the most secure towns in the southeast. One local captured the town's essence perfectly by saying that they say please and thank you while they overcharge you for literally everything. But if you can afford it and you want the single most complete package Kent has to offer. All right, that is the full top 10 best places to live in Kent. Every one of these locations offers something genuinely distinct. And the right answer for you depends entirely on your budget, your commute requirements, your school priorities. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, whether you live in one of these places, are planning a move, or just think I got the ranking wrong. I want to hear it. And if you found this breakdown useful, hit subscribe, because we are going deep on UK property markets all year long. See you in the next one.